Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. This week is a very special week. We have a guest with us. This is Sean B. He's on Winter Jam this year. So if you have the chance to check out Winter Jam, I recommend you coming out, support Sean and all the Winter Jam artists. Again, this is Bradden,
Hey everyone.
and here's Sean.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I'm super pumped to be here.
We're grateful to have you here. So can
Definitely.
you discuss a little bit about your music background before we get started today?
Yeah, man. So I actually grew up in church, and that was the first music exposure that I had. It was that just that old school gospel style worship, and seeing people just jump around and shout during worship was really cool. It just like filled with so much joy, and I was like, man, that's really cool. So I was introduced to music very early, and then it just kind of went on from there. I started listening to guys like in like Toby Mac when he was in DC Talk and stuff like that, and just kind of kept that upbeat vibe going. Family Force 5 also was an early inspiration, and so it just kind of like stuck with me throughout the years. And finally, when I got into like late middle school, it was like eighth grade or something like that. I was like, I want to try to write one of my own songs, and it was like terrible. Like I wrote a song about like the school year or something like that. Like it was the worst. But it was fun, and it was something that kind of like turned my head to looking at like, okay, cool. I think I want to get good at this because this is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Like I was at Toby Mac like right after DC Talks around like 2007, 2008 ranges when I got into Toby Mac. So it's pretty cool to see your musical inspirations are from.
Yeah.
And then Family Force 5, I was a big fan of them. And then like I think there's only like two of the members now. But
Yeah. I know they stopped doing their thing collectively, but man, when they were doing it though, it was just a party all the time.
yeah, that's
For
like when I
sure.
was just re-listening to the EP/album we're gonna discuss. That's what I was thinking about when I listened to the whole album. So
That's cool.
Brad, do you have any comments?
Yeah, definitely. I could see Family Force 5 definitely with your style. Like it actually surprised me about how much pop rap this album was. I was like, okay, this dude can sing. He's got style, he's got vibe, and the message, like, dude, you knocked it out of the park. And I could definitely see those influences in your album.
Ah, that's awesome.
Um, so you're on Winter Jam this year. How's that been so far?
Dude, it has been so cool. It has been the most fun experience that I've had, and it's been the most humbling experience that I've had because it's been one of those things where it's like, I've spent so long trying to get people to, like take interest in the music and like, put it out and of course you kind of reach people slowly when there's not much exposure and then all of a sudden it's like boom, here you go, we're going to put you on Winter Jam and people are getting excited about the music and I'm like, "Whoa, hold on. Like I feel blessed to be able to do this music for you."
Mhm.
And then but then you hear people like, oh, I'm so thankful, or like this song is really helping me out right now, and this song, it's like it's so crazy to be able to hear that and to know that the things that you're doing are starting to make an impact, starting to make a difference. And then you partner that with, I've been following Winter Jam my whole life. They've been a tour, so, for as long as I've been alive. And you have, Jeremy Camp, who I've listened to forever, and Andy Mineo, who I've listened to forever. So to be working on the same team with this tour and these artists is, it has been just so insane and such a really cool experience for me for sure.
I really enjoyed seeing you in Grand Rapids. Like we talked a little bit after the show, and it was really cool to see you out there and everything.
Yeah.
I think Braden's going. Is it Friday or Saturday?
I'll be
Is let
there
me
this
see.
Friday to see Sean,
Yeah,
all of you guys rock it. Yes.
for the Nashville. Yep.
My birthday's on
Yes,
Friday,
hometown
so
show.
you'll be in Nashville on my birthday, and that's my dream city to move
Ah, nice.
to.
There you go. That's awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna kind of deep dive into your EP/album. So we're gonna be talking about "To Come This Far" by Sean B.
Okay.
This is his debut EP, and it's released in July 2020. So can you tell us a little bit what was your inspiration or goal with this album? Like, what was the main goal with this album?
Yeah, so my main goal with this album was to have fun. I wanted to mix it up. And so
Mhm.
it kind of goes back, before I wrote this, I have been trying to, kind of do music and find my voice for a long time before that, and it just had never worked out. I had got into some bad business relationships multiple times, and just kind of never really was able to find, the voice that God gave me. I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know what to say or how to say it. And so when I started, trying to write this project, it was just like, you know what? I want to just get rid of everything that anybody's ever told me. I want to throw away all that negative. I want to throw away all the self-doubt that I've had. Um, I just, because it had come back to this thing of like, people saying like, oh, why do you want to do music? Why don't you want to do something where you can make money? Why do you want to do, ministry? Why don't you focus on, going to get this kind of job, or, going to do this? And then people that I was doing music with, like, oh, well, why do you want to sing? You rap good enough, just rap, because our group needs a rapper, so you don't need to sing. Just like
Mhm.
all these different things that had been told to me, they carried weight. And so for a while, like I believed like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do music. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't sing. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this stuff. But this project was really kind of me saying, you know what, I feel God telling me, just be who I made you to be. Don't be what everybody else thinks you should be, or what the pressure that you feel. Be who you're supposed to be. And so this project is me just saying, all right, let's do it. And so the goal was to enjoy making music again and enjoy, the person that God made me to be.
Looks like we lost Bradden, so there he is. Did you catch all that, Brad?
Yes, I did.
Cool. So I was making sure before we moved on and everything, because the weird thing about Zoom is if I stop the recording, it's going to start making a video file. So it's going to be really weird. So thank you for sharing that. When I was listening to the album, like just overall as a whole, I was thinking like you were saying, like Family Force 5, Toby Mac. I got a little Group One Crew, like early Group One Crew, like
Yeah, yep.
Group One Crew style. That's where I was heading in the direction while I was listening to this album.
Nice. Yep, definitely listen to them a lot.
Brad, do you have any thoughts about overall as the album before we go song by song?
Yeah, the album actually surprised me because I first discovered Sean your music through "Step Into My Story," which beautiful song.
Mhm.
And I know that style is a lot different than what this album was. So going back to it,
Yeah.
it really surprised me, the energy, the life into it. I mean, I was surprised in a good way because like I love pop music. Brendan and I both, we love jamming together about all this music. So this album definitely hit me in a way I didn't expect, but it's so good. Loved how that musical influence, like you said, about just really trying to step into your voice, step into the freedom. I
Mhm.
definitely feel that through the album, and I think that's definitely going to be a theme we see throughout it.
That's awesome.
So the first song we have off here is "I'ma Do Me." Brad and I both in our notes we wrote this is a funky pop rap song on being yourself. So was there an inspiration about the song, or like what was your goal with the song?
Yeah, man. So that was the starter to the project. That was the first song that I wrote, and that was, like I said, I just wanted to get all of those feelings out about, so it's basically talking to my self-doubt, to people who had put me down, and all of that stuff. It's kind of going back to that. And so the purpose of the song is like, God made you to be uniquely you, and so when he calls you, people can't, put their input and affect that call. Like, it's God's call in your life. It's not somebody else's call in your life. And when we remember that, you're able to say like, hey, thank you, but I know what God made me to be, so I'm just gonna do me. Um, and so I really wanted that to kind of like be the statement, and that was almost like my venting song, of like, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna stop caring about the outside noise, and I'm gonna start listening to what God is telling me. Because it's not like a
Mhm.
rebellious or like, I'm gonna do this on my own. It's like I'm finally snapping out of this and realizing that, God gave purpose that nobody can take away. And now I'm gonna stand firm in that, and I'm gonna believe in that, confidently and boldly. And that's what that song is all about.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this song. It's probably one of my favorite songs off this album, and it really like sets the mood for the rest of the album, in my opinion. Brandon?
Definitely, yeah, it starts it off. I think one of the strongest startup songs. Like the message of it's so good. It comes out in such a fun vibe, such a powering song that it really gets you on your feet. It gets you really invested into it. I mean, it's just so good.
That's awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So the next track is Purpose. This was one of my favorite songs off the album. Like I was into like all your music, and this is like the last song actually that came up because I didn't know I had the
Oh,
album
wow.
on shuffle, but I was like typing this document, so I had to rearrange this document. But this is a rap song of living out lives with meaning, and this is like one of the fan favorite songs. I hear like someone at Winter Jam when I was sitting next to him saying the only song I know from Sean is step inside my story, and then Purpose. And so this is like a song that I know people know right away.
Yeah, this one I do this one live at Winter Jam, and it's always just a good moment to have. In verse 2, there's that part where you jump into it and go really fast, and that definitely seems to be a crowd favorite for that moment. That song was cool because when I had put this project together, before I had only done rap, I hadn't done a lot of singing, and so I was like, you know what? I want to get into singing a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that I could still, have some fun with the rap. And it was always something that I wanted to do of like, I just want to do this verse and just see how fast I can go for how long. And, like put those things together and see what happens. And so that song Purpose was something that I, really got to play with that with. And it even ties back into the subject of the song. It's saying like, when God wants us to do something, we can't, give it 50%, or we can't say like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna try, but maybe I'll just try a little bit, or to the point where if I start to get uncomfortable trying, maybe I'll stop. It's like, no, when you're doing something for God, you need to do it on purpose. You need to be intentional about living. You need to be intentional about the decisions that you make every day. The even down to the words that you use, the actions that you take, the choices that you make. You need to be intentional about living for God. And so, every day that you live, you need to do it on purpose. And that's where the inspiration for that song came from.
Brad, any thoughts?
Definitely, yeah. Like I love this song. I love how, like you said, it's like the most rap song on the album. Definitely, it goes full on in that genre. And
Yeah.
that verse in verse 2, dude, that stands out so well. I mean, I love showing people this song, and I'm excited to hear that live Friday as well, Winter Jam. It's just awesome seeing how the song becomes such a fan favorite, not just because you're awesome at the rap and the song so well, but the message of it reaching, especially the younger crowd, to live in life on purpose for God. It's so good how that happens.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's such an important message, I think, is, don't life will happen to us. There's a lot of things in life that we can't control. And actually there's even a line in there that sets up the fast part. It says, we just control what we can and trust in God for what we can't. And I think that line is so important because it's like there's a lot of things in life that we can't control. What we can control is how we react to things, how we respond, how we take the things that life throws at us. And what we can't control, it's out of our control anyway. So we need to trust God with it. So we take care of what we can, and we know that God is going to take care of us and what we can't.
Thanks for that. So the third song off this album is a brand new. This is an upbeat pop song, The New Life Jesus Gives Us. That's what we were writing in our notes. Like we just write our thoughts. So like if we're wrong,
I love that.
Apologize. We just like
you've been right so far. You've been good.
Song. So we like put
Yeah.
our own take, like what we think the message is, and that's what our podcast basically is. We just go song by song talking about songs.
That's cool.
So what was your inspiration, or what was the story of this song?
Man, I wanted a celebration song. This kind of goes back to, like I said, growing up in church and just seeing people like full of joy and jumping, and stuff like that. I wanted a song that we could end shows with and just be like, man, let's celebrate God together, because it'll, it can come after that ministry moment where we've prayed and we've done worship and stuff like that. I think it's so cool that, as Christians, God gave us something very special. God gave us a life that's very special. We have an opportunity to just be refreshed and be redeemed. And so sometimes we remember that, but sometimes we forget to celebrate that, because that is such an awesome gift. And that is a very unique opportunity that he loved us enough to give us. And so when I wrote that song, I was like, man, I just want a song that's like, a party song that's celebrating how good our God is. And so it's, like, God, because of you, this life is brand new. It's, you breathe and bring me back to life. You speak and see my bad made right. You bring me down this path to realize because of you, this life is brand new. So it's even, saying that, like, you're even celebrating the path that you've been on, because had it not been for that path, you may not have realized who God is in your life. And so it's celebrating the breath that you have. It's celebrating, the way that God turns you around, and it's celebrating the journey that you've taken to get to this point to realize that God is awesome.
This was my personal favorite song off the album. I put that at the bottom of our notes, but this was my favorite song off the album. Listening to it, it was just like upbeat. It was catchy, and just makes you want to like move around with it and everything too.
Yeah.
Bradden?
Yes, definitely a celebration song. Love the message, the theme of it. It's also one of my top 3 favorites as well, which we'll get to at the end of the notes. It's just such a good one. It definitely catches the vibe. It catches everyone up, and just that celebration of the life that Jesus has given us, how we've been made brand new. And dude, love it. So good.
Thank you.
The next track off the album/EP is Right Now. And they said this is a fun summer song of living life to the fullest. So we just got like live your life to the fullest vibe to the song while listening to it.
Yep. Yeah, that's you guys are hitting them right on. So with Right Now, it's a fun song and a reminder of, we focus so much on these stressful things of life. And, like we stay busy. If you haven't seen somebody for a long time, you check in, you're like, hey man, how's it going? Oh, I'm busy. It's just been busy. We've been grinding, we've been busy. And it's like, that's really good. But when we're so busy to the point that that's what's consuming our lives, it's we need that reminder to just step back and say, okay, look, right now it's good to be alive. Like right now, we are blessed that we are here. We're blessed with the things that we have, instead of like worrying about the stress of what's to come and what needs to be done and what might happen, what might not happen. There's time to think about those things, but every once in a while we need a minute to just relax and remember, like, hey, God's got us. Regardless of what happens, we're in God's hands. And so Right Now was a song, remembering, hey, maybe right now, take a minute and just remember that we are blessed to be here. And, ultimately what matters is that we have God, and that joy is going to sustain us through the ups and through the downs.
Bradden, any thoughts about the song?
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely that encouraging song. It's a little bit different vibe compared to the other songs, but it's definitely got that roll down your window summer vibe that's so good. And like you said, it's about being present in the moments of each other's lives and our own lives to live them to the fullest. So good, dude.
The next track on this album was I Will. And we got this is an encouraging song of faith and trusting Jesus through every hardship. And that's like what we were seeing while we listened to the album. This is what we decided on, and this is what we thought the theme was of the song.
Yeah, I wrote this song going through a pretty tough time, just kind of emotionally and mentally. I was really kind of, like I said earlier, it was during this time where I was really just questioning myself and questioning my purpose, and, wondering, man, if I had done some things differently, what would it have changed? Did I make bad choices? Was I, am I currently still making the wrong choices? Like, always thinking, like, what if I had done this? What if I hadn't done this? God, what I want to do, but why is it not coming together? What's happening there? And so this song was really a song of me saying, you know what? I'm going to take all of those fears and all of those doubts, and I'm going to wrap them up, and I'm going to give them to God and say, you know what? Whatever you tell me to do, like, the desires of my heart, where I'm at, whatever you tell me to do, I will do. Because it's one of those things where I would rather be living in God's will than, trying to stand on my own and make my own plans. When we make our own plans, they tend to not work out. They tend to not go how we expected. But when, there's this verse, when the Bible says that, God will give you the desires of your heart, it's not the desires of our heart. It's when our heart aligns with God, that those desires are seen. And so this song, I Will, is aligning my heart with God and saying, you know what, God, this is, this is me over here, and here's you, and I will follow you wherever you tell me to go, whatever you tell me to do, whatever you tell me to prioritize, I will do that. And that's because that's what I want to do. And so that was that song of just kind of making that decision of, all right, you know what, it's not about me anymore, God, this is all about you.
I like how it was different. So we went like all this pop and rap songs, and this one was a little slower. So I just like how the momentum shifted personally.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a nice break from all the party.
Bradden?
Yeah, this one actually was my favorite song off the whole project. I love, like you said, it's a little shift of the vibe, but it still holds on to that pop vibe. It still holds on to an encouraging message. Like this one honestly hit me. Like this one's going to be on play for repeat for a while because
That's
it's
cool.
just such a good message. It's so encouraging. And we all need that through life, no matter what hardships come our
Yeah.
way,
Oh yeah.
to know that, to trust in God. Like you said, that our own hearts align with his desires. Like it's a transformation that God gives us. And dude, it's so good to know that and be reminded of that through this song.
Yes, definitely.
So the second to last song on this album was Lights On. This was a slower pop song of shining out the light of Jesus. This was one of my other personal favorites. So can you tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah, so my favorite verse in the Bible is Matthew 5:16. It says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good work and glorify your Father in heaven." That reminds me, that verse is just a daily reminder that, you know, God gave us something special for a reason. And it reminds us too that life is not about us. The cool things that we do in life, the things that we're accomplishing, all of that, this verse is a reminder that those things are not about us. They're actually about what God is doing through us. And so that verse is so important to me in that way, because when we shine, when we do great things, it's not for our own recognition, but it's for God's recognition. And the things that God has done through our lives is a testimony to what he can do through somebody else's life. Our change that he brought can be an inspiration to other people. And that's what we're talking about when we say, let the light shine. It's let what God's done in your life show, so that people can be like, wow, look what God did for them. Look what God did to them. Look how God transformed them and changed them. I need that in my life. And just by living that example, you are a light to the world. You are bringing light to a dark place, and you are letting it shine. And so this song, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, this song is also one of my favorites. First of all, because of the message in it, but I love the vibe of it, and it's almost got like this country pop vibe to it. This whole project, this past couple songs, we've talked about different styles and stuff like that. I intentionally wanted to be diverse in the styles and the vibes of the songs, because um, I just wanted to have something for everybody, like something that everybody's like, oh yeah, okay, I like, I like more country music. That song sounds kind of cool. Or I like more rap, so I like Purpose, those kind of things. And just working with Gregatron, the producer, we were able to have these different vibes, but tie them all in together through, a similar pop kind of sound. So it was really cool. So this one was actually a really fun one for me to write, and it has possibly one of my favorite verses in that verse too, that I'm on it all time, how I can't find nowhere else. I'm on it. Like it's just got a lot of swing and stuff. So I really enjoy listening to that verse. Is probably this one is up there with one of my favorites on this project for sure.
When I saw you were coming from the Winter Jam, I Googled you, or like put like search you on YouTube. And this is the first song I heard, so that was like my introduction to you. So like this is the first
Nice.
song I saw, so.
That's cool.
So like I added the song to my playlist like right away. It's been on my playlist since like I heard the song and everything, and I shared it with a few of my friends and everything. So
That's cool.
Bradden?
Definitely, yeah. The song's super good. Like it's definitely got a vibe that like you can see the entire crowd pull out flashlights back and forth. I don't know if that's what you do at Winter Jam, but it definitely got that vibe to it. It's got like everyone just gets behind it. And the message, dude, it's so good. It's encouraging. Like that verse was the first verse that came to mind when I heard the song. And it's so good hearing that. So good being reminded about that in a song, especially how you crafted it, where everyone can just get behind it, singing along to it. It's definitely one of those songs that brings people together, and I love it, man.
Thank you.
And the last track we have on this album /EP is Alive. And we got an empowering pop/rap song of not going back and coming alive in Christ and everything.
Yeah, dude, this is my workout song, right? The I So this song was kind of this inspiration of like we started it off with "I'ma do me." It was like, all right, let's declare that we believe in God's purpose. And then we go through this journey of all these songs and finally get to this point where it's like, yeah, man, I'm alive. Like we're doing it. And so this is it's got more of an aggressive tone to it because it's like, let's go and get life. It's everything that's kind of like been building up through the experiences, through the ups and the downs. It's like, you've held that in. And so, once you find your purpose, once you find the mission that God's called you to, it's like, okay, we are going to use everything that's ever happened, and we are going to use that as fuel and as, drive to go down this path that God's called us on. And that really is for anybody. And it doesn't have to be musical or even artistic in any way. It's like whatever, if your calling is through ministry, if it's through, I know some people like to write or like to speak or like whatever that is, like all of the things that you've been through can lead you into that moment, can drive you and be fuel. Like God does not waste the chances, or God does not waste the things that you've been through. Everything that has happened has not been by chance. It has been on purpose for you to learn from that, to grow from that, and to use that as fuel to drive you down that calling. And so Alive is one of those songs where it's just like, all right, even in the verse or in the chorus, like this is my time, my doubt, my fear, my pride, leave it all behind. I'm alive. Like it's just that thing of like, all right, let's go, let's get it. God set us on a path. Let's go make it happen.
Right. Any thoughts on this song?
To be honest, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth. Like, dude, it's really that good, man. Like when I first heard it, it went straight to my workout playlist. And like you said, I love how you put it. The entire album, it's like a journey, and it's led to this through the highs, the lows, the trusting God, the going through the battles, and all the things. It comes out to that we are made alive, that we can take these experiences and live them out for Jesus in our own lives to help others. The song's definitely empowering. It's an amazing one, and definitely a great song to end it. So good.
Yeah.
Good. I thought you were gonna say that.
No, yeah, go ahead, guys.
Bradden, what's your 3 favorite songs from this album?
It was hard to pick because I love all these songs so much, honestly. My 3 favorite songs would probably be I Will, Brand New, and Alive.
And my 3 favorite songs personally were Brand New, Lights On, and Purpose. We always have that one common song that we both
nice, yeah.
Have you noticed that in our podcast, Bradden? We both
always
do. But and that's all for this album. We really enjoyed listening to it, and we really appreciate you coming out to join us today. And we know you have a new single coming out next week. I think it's in next Friday, the 10th?
February 10th. Yep.
Center Stage. So we'll be
Center Stage is gonna be a good one. Doing that one live at Winter Jam. It's been getting great reception and stuff. And that's another song that just talks about getting yourself out of the way and letting God work through your life. So that people see him when they see you.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of singles, we have a couple of quick singles we're going to discuss. I just run down very quick. First off, Housefires released a new album. This is a 12-song full-length worship album. It was the first song since they rebrand, or first album since they rebrand. And they featured artists like Ryan Ellis, Davy Flowers, and Chandler Moore and more. How did you listen to the album, Bradden?
I did. I've loved Housefires for years since they rebranded. I think this album's one of their top tier. So many good songs, so many great moments. It's definitely a highlight.
And then Ella Hart, an independent singer, released a song called First Hope. This is a track off the newest Left Behind movie, and it's a touching contemporary song of finding redemption in Jesus.
Definitely love the song. Actually, you put her on my radar because I've not heard of her since then. And the movie alone, like there's a movie that her song's featured in. I've already been interested to see it. So I'm super excited to hopefully see the movie and hear her song there. It's definitely a great song. So touching.
And then David Leonard just released his first single off his new album, That's Plans. And this is actually the 7th single leading into the album, so I'm not bad, but he released a new single. And this is a worship song of God holding every part of our lives in his plan. And I'm excited to see what's next for David Leonard and his album.
Completely agree. He's definitely a great songwriter, singing songs like "Great Are You, Lord" with All Sons and Daughters. I'm super excited to see his debut album with Provident Records. It's going to be so good, and the song "Plans" already. It's so touching and definitely an encouragement.
And then Decipher Down released a song called Circles. This is their first new song since 2017. And it's an independently released album they're working on. So this is going to be exciting to see what's next for them.
Definitely, yeah. I've not heard too much of them throughout the years, but it's definitely a great, heavy song, encouraging us on making the choices in our lives to make them all have purpose, to be careful in how we live so that we lift up and glorify something more than ourselves. It's such a good song.
And the last single that came out last week was Colton Dixon, Build a Boat, featuring Gabby Barrett. This is a new version of the #1 hit radio song from Colton Dixon, and it features mainstream country singer Gabby Barrett. So we discussed this before. A lot of these mainstream artists are joining Christian artists, and I find that really cool.
Definitely. It never gets old seeing it. Like this song already is such a big hit. I think it was the most listened of radio song of 2022. It's so good. And this new version definitely gives it new life, especially seeing mainstream artists jump on. Definitely hoping that reaches more people. It's such a good one.
But that's all we had time for this podcast. Again, Sean, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And good luck with you at Winter Jam.
Definitely.
Man, thank you guys for having me. It was great to be on. See you Friday.
Yes.
And we'll see you on social media world.
Yes, sir.
Take care, everyone. Have a great week.